Now, in terms of adoption, it's important to call out the fact that adoption is growing very rapidly. The hypervisor was a one-horse race for a long time, even for Nutanix. When we first went to market, we went to market on ESX. And inevitably, through customer demand, big customer demand, we developed our own hypervisor, AHV. And you can see here, AHV adoption is up to 69% as a percent of total cores. That's big. When I first came to work at Nutanix 6 years ago, it was in the 20s, right? Adoption was in the 20s. So, and this whole VMware uncertainty Broadcom thing that has caused this number to go up significantly. This was at the end of Q1. I suspect that number is over 70% now because it has been growing rapidly. And why is that? Because it has value. It's not just because of what VMware and Broadcom are doing. It's because AHV is valid. It's enterprise. It has all of the features and functionality that you expect, and we can draw a comparison between these things, right? So when we look at this, a lot of potential customers were afraid to make this move to a different hypervisor, right? They thought AOS was dependent on AHV, or that you needed AHV to derive any real value from AOS. But even though we've always been able to run on ESX, but we have in the entire stack that compares Nutanix Cloud Infrastructure. This is our core product, NCI, as we call it. We used to call it Core AOS. For those of you who have known about Nutanix for a long time, this provides us with all the core functionality, the hypervisor, the distributed storage fabric, container orchestration, replication of DR, network overlays in the form of Flow VPC, microsegmentation, a security entity, right? This is one product. This is one thing that has all of that, not 5 different products. Unified storage. Again, why do we call it unified storage? Because we can support multiple different types of storage on our storage platform and it be part of the cluster. I don't have to go build out a separate thing for unified storage. I can if I want to, but I don't have to. Cloud management, right? That gives us intelligent operations, self-service, orchestration, cost governance, not only cost governance for on-prem, but cost governance for public cloud. Move, I'm going to talk about Move more as we move along. NDB, this is a big one. NDB is an amazing product. I don't want to get into NDB on this call because I can't really give it due diligence. I can't give it the justice that it deserves. But if you have databases, if you have a fairly significant database infrastructure, take a look at Nutanix. Again, you get all of the data resiliency, the failure handling, the performance, all of that applied to your database infrastructure, okay? And then, of course, Nutanix Cloud Clusters. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we move on when I talk some about hybrid cloud. But now you're wondering, how do I get there, right? How do I achieve this journey to hybrid cloud nirvana or modern infrastructure? Well, it's all been mapped out for you already right here on the back of a napkin. See, simple, very easy. No, I'm just kidding. This is not the path. The path is actually much simpler than this. But most of you are kind of somewhere over on the left, or maybe in that drift of uncertainty, which is kind of funny. That's why I like this slide, because I think that's kind of a funny place to be. Many people are there, but we have a number of different ways we can do this. Now, I want to start with saying we can do a simple in-place conversion. For those of you who run Nutanix on ESX, there is an in-place upgrade. We don't always recommend this for production. In fact, I would go so far as to say, if you have production, mission critical workloads, you probably don't want to do an in-place upgrade. But if you have started with something like this for test dev, QA, whatever the case might be, and you decide, you know what, I want to try out AHV, you can flip this Nutanix cluster running ESX right to AHV. Click a button, boom, you go from VMware vSphere to AHV. Simple in-place conversion. Now, if you want to do a little bit more of a phased approach, right? You can try out test drive, or not test drive. You can try out AHV perhaps as a DR scenario. And this is actually very common for customers who run Nutanix on VMware, and they don't want to invest in licensing for VMware in a DR environment, right? We can run AHV in the DR environment and simply do cross hypervisor migration, because in the DR environment, when the VMs come up, the VM's just a VM. It just happens to be run on AHV instead of VMware. So we can use this as a migration mechanism. But most of the time, we recommend Nutanix Move, right? So we can do workload rehosting with Nutanix Move. Move is a cross-hypervisor mobility solution that allows you to move virtual machines and workloads with minimal downtime, right? We can move to and from cloud. We can move from ESX or Hyper-V to cloud or to Nutanix AHV. A very, very easy to use tool. We deploy it as a VM. We identify the VMs that we want to move, where we want to move them to, and we can move them in batches and do all sorts of interesting enterprise thing. This is not installing VMware Convert on your laptop and grabbing VMs one at a time and converting them. We are grabbing a big old bunch of VMs, however many you want, in batches, one-click migration, okay? So very, very handy tool, very good for achieving this ideal state, the ideal state. What is the ideal state? Well, for many customers, it's hybrid cloud. We see this, and Forrester sees this as the ideal scenario for infrastructure. In fact, Forrester tells us, I read an article recently that was written by Forrester that said 1 in 4 VMware customers will get off of their platform in the next year, the next 1 year. This is an article that came out a month or so ago. 1 in 4 customers will get off of VMware's platform. Where are they going to go? Public cloud, AHV, those are only 2 really legitimate alternatives that I could think of. But the thing that was very, very interesting to me is the comments, right? I mean, a lot of times, you know, you skim through an article and you go straight to the comments, right? Well, when I went to the comments after I read the article, I could not believe the sheer volume of comments that said, oh, well, there's no alternative to VMware. Where are people going to go? What enterprise hypervisor exists? And that blew my mind. But it gave me kind of a checkpoint, a realization that not everybody knows who we are, despite the fact that we've been doing this for a dozen years. Not everybody knows who we are. So it's important for us and for you to spread the word, right? Because there is an alternative. And one of the other things about this is that, remember, legacy infrastructure does not lend itself to seamless multi-cloud or even hybrid cloud. Those legacy constructs do not exist at the hyperscaler level. Customers are looking for these things. The value of private cloud combined with the value of public cloud, okay? What's the fastest, easiest way to cloud? Nutanix Cloud Clusters, right? Choice Solutions is an expert at this. Let them help you figure out how to navigate this journey. And this, what you see on this slide, is what you get for modern infrastructure combined with hybrid cloud. There is no natural extension, as I mentioned, okay? Now, before you, as a customer, go buy another 3-tier construct, whether it's storage, whether it's compute, whether it's legacy hypervisor, ask yourself about your cloud initiatives. Ask yourself about how you're going to get to cloud, if you want to get to cloud, and if you want to get there, how you're going to do it. And ask yourself if that purchase, if that additional legacy 3-tier purchase gets you any closer to cloud, if that's the path you're on. And I think you'll find that it does not get you closer to cloud. Modern infrastructure gets you closer to cloud. And then remind yourself that the same old thinking gets the same old results. Remember that slide? Okay, So now that you know what modern infrastructure does for you, now that you know that it creates seamless mobility to cloud, and you know how to move those workloads, think back to one of the main reasons customers adopted VMware, other than vMotion: efficiency. What did VMware do for bare metal servers? They drove efficiency. They allowed us to get the absolute maximum effective use out of that hardware spend. Native cloud requires you, current native cloud requires that you leverage these t-shirt sizes, right? Small, medium, large, extra large, so on. But what it does not provide to you, native cloud, is efficiency. You are forced into putting a workload or a VM into an instance type, and you are very likely to have to overcommit on resources just to be sure you don't run out, because that's what you get. This creates waste. And in the cloud, guess what? You're going to pay for that waste, whether you use it or not. So what I'm telling you is that we are the fastest way to cloud. We are the most cost-effective way to leverage cloud. Okay. What we do for cloud is what VMware did for bare metal data centers. We drive efficiency into cloud, and that saves you money. How much money does it save you? Well, if you want to know, talk to our friends at Choice. They're an amazing partner. They have access to these awesome tools that allow them to help you do cost comparisons. What does it look like if I want to go to public cloud compared to on-prem? What does it look like if I want hybrid cloud compared to legacy 3-tier infrastructure, right? So like I said, Choice has the tools to make sure that you have a cost comparison, so you're not jumping into this with both feet blindly. From an experience perspective, if you want to try it out, we could try it out on test drive. All of you as customers have access to Nutanix Test Drive. It is a walkthrough, right? You go into test drive, it's free, it's easy to use. If you want to look at how to modernize your storage platform, you click on that button and it walks you through. This is how you create a file server. This is how you create a file share. This is how you create a VM, so on and so forth. This is how you do advanced analytics and automation. And we show you how to do it in like 5 minutes. So it has to be simple, or we wouldn't be able to walk you through it in a very simple, fast, easy to understand way. So I would encourage you to sign up for Nutanix Test Drive. You'll get access to it instantly. You can have access to it for 2 hours. You can go off script if you want. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And that's all I have